Hello and welcome to the Listening Post's unboxing channel on YouTube. Today it is with great pride that I'm unboxing McIntosh's brand new C2700 valve preamp. This astonishingly good preamp is legendary. The reviews, the build, the sound quality, all exceptional, with a quality first build principle from every element of this product. So let's have a look. Firstly, McIntosh's export cartons are huge. Double boxed, massive staples on the bottom to hold everything together. Model, serial number and other information on all corners. And all of the boxes are sealed with McIntosh's factory sealed tape. Opening the box is relatively straightforward. Nice and easy with a craft knife across the seal, lift and then trim from one side to the other. At this point you fold it open and reveal the inner box. And this is where some of the care and attention has been made. Let's have a look. Astonishing as far as their attention to detail, having a box within a box suspended inside foam. This thing is going to easily cope with the most robust of carriers. Going from this point, the easiest is to lift the product out and putting it to one side. Obviously the box now empty, get rid of that. And concentrate on what's inside. Now, the first thing to do is grab the ends, get rid of the foam, roll it carefully, and then get rid of the other pieces. And we're revealing the inner box. It's got two handles either side, an emulation of model and serial number information, and then it is sealed with more factory tape. Again, opening that tape very, very easy. Very easy. Simple run along the slight curved flap and then open the unit up. Now inside, the first thing that you will see is McIntosh's comprehensive user manual. It's sitting positioned on top, it's protected in a plastic bag, and this is specific to this model. It answers all of the questions that you could possibly have about this product. Input settings, display levels, allocation of inputs and outputs, turning on digital, turning off analog, all of those types of things can be done using the manual. It talks about connecting things like 3.5mm control cables, trigger cables, other things along those lines, all beautifully laid out. At the back, just to get rid of some of the accessories first, we've got McIntosh's IEC power cord. This is a New Zealand power cord, good long length, good quality, nice and heavy. We've got McIntosh's new remote control. Now this particular one is inside a bubble bag. A couple of little nicks on the plastic, there's its model number obviously there, and the bag itself can be opened as it's got double-sided tape holding it closed. There's a couple of AAA batteries and then this beautiful remote control. The batteries sit in the base and it naturally sits in the palm of your hand, so it balances really well and is very easy to use. The thumb of left or right hand can easily navigate to the main used volume and other buttons, input selection, and the remote control will also control McIntosh's CD players and other things. So we've got skip, forward, play, pause, other things on it as well. So lovely to see a beautiful piece of remote with this product. Okay. The next is a bit of protection, holding the preamp in place. And the next step is to slide the preamp off the inner box. I'll show you why in a moment. Okay. Now, all of McIntosh's products have some form of base to them. This being a relatively light product, it's just sitting inside some cardboard. Some much larger amplifiers, in fact, please have a look at any of our other McIntosh unboxing videos. You'll see that there's plywood and other things physically bolted into the bottom. The easiest, actually to be honest, the easiest is just lift it off. You'll see a couple of things. Firstly, there's a lovely cutaway. That ensures the front, which is ever so slightly deeper than the chassis, is protected with the cardboard. It sits firmly across the front, and there's a use of both foam and the cutout for the feet to ensure that the unit, should it be vibrated, is going to be held beautifully in place and suffer no damage in transit. So the main front feet and the rears key in beautifully. Obviously there's a few more holes for perhaps this template being used for some other products as well. Taking the next step is very straightforward. The bag, it's an oversized plastic bag, is taped closed, and so opening it from there is very, very straightforward. Pull it over, rock it onto its edge, and then lift the bag straight off. Now inside reveals a desiccant bag, and it's actually inside a smaller fabric bag to ensure that it cannot scratch the product in transit. Pausing to have a look at the bottom, you'll see McIntosh's oversized feet with a little bit of a limited pad on it perhaps, and lovely ventilation. So looking at the front of this for the first time, we start to reveal some of the classic McIntosh style. Glance at any equipment in somebody's home, somebody's shop, or even in a movie, and you will see that signature glow of McIntosh from across the room. McIntosh obviously have continued their style despite adding significant number of additional features and digital things. So their classic preamps in this range have always featured just a volume and input knob. However, pushing and holding these allows you to drill into setup menus, deep changes within its setup, to ensure that you can allocate digital ins, change names, turn on and off triggers, all through the two-level display in the front. So they've kept this very, very minimalist design, but feature-rich by utilizing a push and hold and other things to get inside the setup menu. Okay, so looking at the front. The first is we've got an input selector, and it's a rotary encoder. Beside it, it does talk about pushing and holding to get into the menu setting, and above it we've got the output for that channel. Below the input selector we've got a headphone output, 6¼ mil. It's got HDX. Now this is McIntosh's proprietary room feel sort of approach to their headphones. The headphone output is astonishing. It's really, really lovely. Sure, you're not going to buy this preamp because of its headphone performance, but it's wonderful to understand that McIntosh has left no stone unturned as far as the quality of the things that you may choose to use in these products. The headphone output is beautiful, as you would expect in any good product, but it's wonderful to see that they've lifted it even further and included McIntosh's HXD. Okay. Looking across the middle, we've got McIntosh's obviously signature and model number. Center is the infrared sensor. There's a 2-line dot matrix display, and please hang around for some photographs. I'll use some close-ups so that you can get an understanding of this and see it operating. You've got 2 selectable outputs, both illuminated by a red dot. You've got tone and tone to feet, of course, a mute button, and then the main red standby button. It's worth mentioning pressing and holding that will reset the unit should it ever put itself in a state of protection or start misbehaving. Above it, of course, is its main volume control, and again rotating that allows you to adjust every element of this preamp's inputs and outputs, including bass, treble, balance, volume, and navigate through its setup. Above the volume control is the final output for that channel as well. Spinning it around for a moment, I want you to understand that this is essentially a 2-chassis design, and as you will see at the back, some of the things are isolated using that second chassis. Looking at it from the top though, as I lean it forward, you'll see that how beautiful the design is. It's deep, it needs to be, but the tubes also run through a window, so they're placed to ensure that you can see them. You can turn on and off the lights and illumination of them if you wish. There's some basic information printed on the front associated with digital connections, DSD and other things along those lines, as well as signal to noise ratio measured on all inputs. There's a basic circuit topography in the window highlighting which tubes do what and for what purpose, as well as the circuit design as far as its output as well. Again, looking at the side, you'll see that sort of twin chassis design, and it's at the back that you understand where that twin chassis sort of comes in. This is kind of where the magic happens. The very simple front is now revealing its feature set at the rear. The unit has multiple inputs and outputs. Let's start with the boring stuff for now. It's got an IEC input and a USB for the purposes of servicing and software update. The chassis beneath, of course, is helping to isolate the electrical side of things and the trigger inputs and outputs associated with control of both power amplifiers turning on and off and other connected appliances via the system remote. You will see power control, external IR control and data ports, all beautifully labelled and very easy. Over here though is one of the reasons that this product is so well regarded and how good it really is. It's McIntosh's brand new 2nd generation modular digital board. It's their it's featuring MCT, which is their SACD digital link, asynchronous USB, an HDMI input for the audio return channel of perhaps a television or a higher end streamer of some kind. It features 2 digital optical and 2 coaxial inputs, and as the latest generation their DA2 to replace, complement I guess with a better option, the DA1. This is the first model to release with it internally, and it's lovely to see it in such an affordable valve pre. Above this we have a wonderful phono preamp, and the connections of it for both moving coil and moving magnet are separate. Separate circuit design and use of tubes as well, and 2 really good quality binding posts for the earth of the phono stage. Across from here we've got the unbalanced inputs. There are 4, or 4 pairs at least anyway, each just labelled 1, 2, 3, 4, again because you can allocate them and name them using the setup. Then it's got a fixed output. Now this is like a loop out perhaps, and it can be utilised for any number of applications. There are 3 sets of balanced inputs, and it's worth mentioning that in this preamp the balanced circuitry is completely independent of the single-ended circuitry, and a connection between them is only made if you select a single-ended input and a balanced out. There are the main outputs which we see here above the balanced ins. These are not selectable, so this is what you would probably use to a traditional power amplifier. It's got balanced and single-ended. Then you've got the switchable outputs which toggle on and off from the front. This gives you perhaps the ability to plug this into a multitude of other devices if you choose to, or use it in an application where a central music device like a turntable, CD player or server may need to be shared with other devices around your home. Both of these outputs are balanced and single-ended. And lastly we've got an emulation of the serial number and some basic electrical warnings. Okay, so there we have this beautiful valve preamp, the McIntosh C2700, unboxed here at the Listening Post in Christchurch, New Zealand. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more, subscribe to our channel.